Wash your hands always. Really excited. That's my middle name.
I started doing drag in Cork, and then I started drag in Cork, and the scene wasn't very welcoming at the time, so I just kind of sacked it off, and then I went to Vietnam, and maybe like 4 or 5 months after I got to Vietnam, I started performing for these like RuPaul's Drag Race viewing nights. This was January last year, and then it kind of snowballed from there, and I started doing my own club nights.
Everyone, thank you so much for coming.
I didn't grow up around a culture of drag. Like, there was no culture in Waterford, and there wasn't really much of a culture in Cork, so it like was a lot to do with like RuPaul's Drag Race and just like that giving me some exposure to the culture itself, you know? Friends/family, fine. All absolutely fine. Yeah, I used to I have a few like straight guy friends, and they would like obviously my makeup would be really shit and crunchy and stuff like that, so they'd see it. So like I went to Pennies and stuff like that to get makeup, and I would just be like really anxious because I was like, oh, I shouldn't be here. But that kind of subsided once I started performing. It's always really difficult, like when you start like walking around and stuff like that, and your posture will be fucking down, and so like you're not looking at anyone, but just like after time you get more confident with it. But friends and family were absolutely fine, yeah. I didn't really have to, my family haven't seen me in person in drag because I was in Vietnam, like, so I just like told them when I was like keeping in contact with them or whatever. Not in Vietnam, but in Cork. Like, I don't even want to breathe much life back into that, but there was like an incident where I was refused entry to a club a couple of months ago, and I kind of took to Instagram and stuff like that, and it turned into like a bit of a witch hunt, which I didn't want. I think the narrative should have been, I guess, like queer and trans exposure in Ireland, as opposed to like, oh, boycott this place, you know, because that wasn't the essence of what I wanted to get across. The club night that I was going to changed the venue, so they aren't having their night in the venue that discriminated against me. Like, I went in drag and I was basically like told very ambiguously that there was an incident the last time I had been there, which like obviously wasn't true. That's kind of like the only bit of discrimination I encountered. Like, I was out in Cypress Avenue last weekend, and there were these two guys, and they were just like young and immature or whatever, and they were like, ooh, hello, but like you can't, you know, you just have to go up to people and like approach them in such a way that I guess like gauge their response before you get angry. Like, I was like, what's the crack, lads? And then they had a load of questions and stuff, so I wasn't like shouting at them and dogmatic, and I wasn't like, you know, like you're being like really stupid or whatever. I answered whatever questions they needed to be asked, and they're, you know, probably going to be nicer to people like that in future because I was nice to them.
I think it probably started like a long time ago. I was kind of started first experimenting with makeup when I was like 16, 17, because I did like dancing and like, you know, I was on the stage a lot, so you kind of had to like have a small idea. Boys didn't have to wear like as much makeup as girls, but I always like kind of was interested in it. It was only then till I moved away to college that I saw people around me, and there was so much more creative over there in London that I kind of was just like, oh, I want to experiment more with it, get better at it. It basically takes about like 15 minutes just to get rid of your own brows. And I've like literally waxed half my office on, and it still takes so much fucking time. It's probably very like cliche, but I guess what did start me being interested in drag was RuPaul's Drag Race. I was obsessed with it since season 1. I've been watching it since season 1. I remember like I found it accidentally online when I was like, how old was I? Maybe like 14, 15. And since then I was kind of, I had like an interest in it, but it was definitely my drag mother, Candy Warhol, shout out. She's definitely what got me into drag. She basically forced me to do drag because she found me in Pride and they were doing like a set on the stage and I was in like a cute little outfit and she dragged me up and then brought me backstage and she was just like, who are you? Like with drag makeup you can kind of like be as crazy and creative as you want. Like I get mistaken for a girl a lot of the time when I'm even just in my boy makeup because they think I'm just like kind of like a butch girl. Yeah, no, genuinely, like they meant to say that, you know, fellas are like trying to chat on to me and I know that they're straight, like, and I'm not saying a singular word and then like I'll lower my voice, you know, that kind of when I start thinking, oh yeah, that's great, and then they're there like, oh, what the fuck. I think like with boy makeup I kind of just want to look a bit more like cute and like, I don't know, where with drag makeup I want to look a bit weird and a bit kind of like artsy and kind of a bit scary sometimes as well. You know, it's completely different to what I thought it was going to be. Not from my family, but from my friends. Like I come from like my friendship group is like primarily straight. And it's not that like I didn't think that they wouldn't be supportive at all. I just didn't think that they would get it as such. But like it's almost kind of like the complete opposite. Like all my straight friends always be texting me like, when's the next mock? Yeah, when are you performing next? Like what's this crack? What's going on? And like it's the same with my family. Like my mom just is completely so supportive. Like I think she was a drag queen in a past life or something because like she is just absolutely insane. Like she buys me fabric, she buys me this, like she'll send me screenshots of wigs that she's like seen like on Facebook or Instagram. She's like, what about this colour would be great for nettles, you know, that kind of. I'm really lucky because like I think in the gay community in particular, like we're not always accepted by our family and we're not accepted by our parents, our friends, being a minority in the kind of like modern day society, you know. So I think I feel so lucky is because I've never had to have that shift. Like everyone that I had before have just kind of jumped on the bandwagon and come along with me. I've always felt very like protected and safe in most cases. And I think like the only time that I've ever felt any like discrimination or kind of standoffish is when I was about like 17ish, when I first kind of started like realising that like I am this fully gay mad alien, that I was like walking down Patrick Street and like these big fuck off like 8-inch platforms and like spray painted jeans and all these weird tops, and it was kind of like the era when everyone was in chinos and hung out at Brown Thomas and all this weird stuff. So like it would be kind of the only time that I'd get this like oppression would be when I kind of like would walk down that street and just like you'd see all the eyes, or you'd see like nobody would actually say anything to me but you could see them talking about me. But I've never actually gotten into a fight or been attacked or anything like that for like the way I looked. I think if you are confident and you kind of like give off a vibe that if you come near me that it's not going to be an easy battle, people don't approach you. I might as well have an aura about me or carry myself in the way that people, instead of being like, oh, look at him, be like, oh, look at him.
I think I'd go crazy if I saw that on the street.
I guess the best thing that queens can do, and like trans people, while it's really hard not to get angry sometimes, getting angry at that sort of thing isn't going to elicit a, I guess, like constructive response from people. So the best thing you can do is gauge the situation. So for example, I went up to those guys and they actually turned out to just like be ignorant and, you know, it was more ignorance than malice, you know? Ignorance is easier to engage with than malice because people aren't willing to listen when they just want to be mean to you. But if people just don't know, then, you know, if you're up for it, it's your job to teach them and inform them and not get worked up, however frustrating it may be. But that's completely up to the person. Like if someone feels like they don't want to engage with that, or they don't want to explain themselves to people like that because they've had to do it so much before, then, you know, they don't have to as well, and they're not bad trans people or bad drag queens. If you're feeling up for it, explaining is the best thing you can do, really. I don't personally, I've never cared about pronouns, so like people can refer to me as like whatever pronoun they want, but yeah, me personally, I guess I am gender neutral. I guess like my gender expression falls somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. When I was growing up, I didn't have exposure to a drag community, so it's great that a lot of young queens are getting exposure to it. My only critique is that they're like, I guess like drag culture nowadays seems to be very like RuPaul centric, when there's a lot more to it than that. So I guess when people, even people that can't even do drag or can't even paint their face, are very like critical of people not being absolutely perfect, which is bullshit, because like they're seeing these like paradigms of really polished queens on TV, so then when they see what an actual drag queen looks like in real life, which is never like it is on TV, then you're like, oh. I don't really have that different a persona, but you know, a lot of queens do that, like they'll take on a completely different character that is different to like how they normally are. I rely on like shock value a lot for like my humour and stuff. I'm not much of a dancer.
So I went over to his house, and after I saw the posters and the bed sheets and the toys, I came to the conclusion that he's a Disney gay.
Oh, you nasty boy, don't mean a thing to me.
Literally just to like establish a more alternative underground drag scene in Cork. I've no like real desire to like go on TV or like be famous or anything like that, but just like to, I guess, like keep progressing in my creativity. Yeah.
I think that, you know, it's very easy to look at something that you don't know and just make a straight up assumption about it. Like even for me, I do it myself when it's something got to do with like sport. So like what I think would just say to them is like, have a conversation with me, you know what I mean? Give me 5 minutes, give me 2 minutes, give me 30 seconds, just give me a chance to even just let you know more information than what it is. It's not me trying to pull you into being trans, being gay or anything like that, which I think is a lot of fear from people. Unpopular opinion, but you can't turn someone gay, you know what I mean? You're either born gay or not. So I think that's what it should be about. It should be more about like conversations, like opening up. Talk to someone that you wouldn't talk to if there's somebody in a club or a bar that you don't understand, or you're thinking, ooh, that's different. Instead of being like, ooh, that's different, go over and be like, you're different, let's have a chat about it, you know. And I think 9 times out of 10 people would be very receptive to that, or would probably be more kind of like, oh wow, okay, they're actually taking their initiative to get to know me instead of going like, look at the fag in the corner. As long as you know what you are and you're not offended by what anybody else thinks, then it, like male, female, in between, it doesn't actually matter at all. We all are born the same way, we all die the same way, so like, just get the fuck over it and grow up, do you know? The fact that like it's getting such a big following and such a kind of big following again behind it, that like it's now giving people like me and all my friends that do it like an actual, maybe now, different way of living, or like a different income, different career path that we didn't think was even possible. If there's a way that I can now maybe like make a living off it, then like why the hell not, you know? I'm just gonna go roll with it, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like I'm definitely gonna give it my best shot, you know? I'm quite competitive as well, so like I don't feel like I'd be giving it up that easily. So like I guess the end goal is to be just an absolutely fucking drag superstar.